homesteaders. I hope we're doing good today. I had promised somebody in the comments that I would make zucchini bread. I think she said muffins, but it's the same difference. You can put them in little pans, big pans, little muffins, however you want. I find a recipe online, and then I just kind of adapt to whatever I think it does. I'll put everything in there, I'll taste it, and if it needs more sugar, I'll add more sugar. If it needs more nutmeg or allspice, it doesn't call for allspice, but I'm putting it in there. This recipe actually calls for a cup of vegetable oil. You can substitute half of that oil with applesauce. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a whirl. This applesauce I made last year. I got a big box of apples. So I was looking for ways to use it. I made apple butter, I made applesauce, and now I'm gonna keep using it. Okay, so let me grab my apron before I forget, like usual, and we'll get started. Alright, so the first thing I've done, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour in here. Then I am going to, I have a cup of white sugar and a cup of brown sugar. I'll probably add more brown sugar, but we're going to start with what it calls for. Okay. So, I think the name of this website is Butter with a Side of Bread. And the name of the recipe, Best Ever Zucchini Bread Recipe. And like I said, I'm just going to do what it says to begin with, and then I'm going to go my own little way. Okay, so that was half of a cup of oil. Now I'm going to do the other half with applesauce, just to cut down on some of the calories and grease and stuff, because heaven knows we get enough of that. Okay, so I need about half. That might be a hair more than half, but be alright. Okay. Now, it calls for 3 eggs. 1, 2. 3. It says a teaspoon of baking powder. Teaspoon of salt, now I followed the recipe for the bread that I made. I'll link it above, and it told me to put salt in it. Don't put salt in it, so I'm only gonna put maybe not even a half a teaspoon in here. Okay, yeah, so there might be a 1/4 of a teaspoon. Y'all, the batteries of this thing are going to be the death of me. Okay, so, I don't exactly know where it shut off, but I put 3 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. It calls for a teaspoon of salt. I only put maybe a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Okay? I put a little bit of allspice, which the recipe doesn't call for, but I like it, so I put it in there. And then I put a little bit of nutmeg in there. Okay? And I've about used all of my vanilla extract. Almost all. I might still use it all. Okay, and then it's best to use the fresh zucchini grated. Okay, if you can take a grater and just grate it, it's better that way. But I'm in a little predicamente, and I used my canned zucchini. The canned zucchini because, well, I canned it in a pressure cooker and now it's mush, and this is pretty much all it's good for. And zucchini casserole. But, you know, we're still using it. No waste. Remember, no waste. Okay? So, it also calls for a cup of vegetable oil. If you don't want to use the full cup of vegetable oil, you can put half a cup of applesauce in here. Now, this is our homemade applesauce, as I mentioned before. I'm pretty sure it got that part in the video. So I put it in here, and I put a little bit more than half a cup. I probably put another quarter cup, half cup. This is why I don't follow recipes. I look up a recipe, look what all's in it, look about how much it calls for, and then I just roll with it. There are also 3 eggs in here. You saw the part with the cup of brown sugar, cup of white sugar. I also added a little bit more brown sugar. I just do that to taste. So as I'm doing this, it needs, and then I'll just add a little bit till it's perfect. It's hard to get a recipe good like that every time, but that's where some of the best recipes are made from. Okay, so now I'm going to put my second jar of zucchini in here after I drain the water. Okay, so now this is going to use 2 of these, possibly 3. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven. My pans are greased pretty well. I'm going to pour this in to about halfway. And yep, it's going to need 3. If you're anything like me, you don't always make this stuff with the nuts, so sometimes you forget to put them in there. Now it's in your pan. What do? Do you take the whole pan and pour it back in there? Yeah, I usually do. But, little trick, I'm going to leave one of these without. I have walnuts here. Okay. I think you're supposed to crush them more, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take this spoon and I'm just going to kind of push them down in there without messing the sides up too much. There. Perfect. Now I'm going to put them in the oven. So they're in the oven, and I'm going to check them here in a little bit, and I'll let you know about how long they've been in the oven and when they're done. Okay? See you in a minute. So I'm back. I have the zucchini out of the oven. I forgot, Frankie wants me to kind of glaze it. Glaze the top with some honey. See how that turns out. And if I could get the honey jar undone, I would do that. Having the hardest time opening things lately. Yeah! It's really a drag. Okay. You should be able to see right there. Now, when I insert the fork, it comes out clean. Comes out clean. This one, there was a little more in it, so it's going to take a little longer. But I'm going to go ahead and glaze the tops with a little bit of honey. And all I'm going to do is just drizzle it. I'm going to pop it back in the oven for just a minute. I love honey. Can't wait till it's our own. That's coming soon. Okay, so I've got it out of the oven. Don't mind my mashed potatoes. I'm working on dinner as well. Look at that. Look at how pretty. And soft. Now I'm going to go ahead and try a bite for you. That way if it's good, you'll see my reaction. If it's not so good, you'll definitely see my reaction. So I'm going to do one of the ones with nuts. Oh, that's hot. The honey makes it sticky. Really like that part. Whew. So hot. Maybe we'll do a tiny bite. I feel like the taste is good, but it needs to cook longer. So I've got my zucchini bread done. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks. See you next time.